Welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast, your number one opinion source for all things entertainment. Join host Marco Mazzola as he sounds off on the latest movies, TV, music, gaming, comic books, and more. Now, here's the man of the hour, Marco Mazzola.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast. I'm your host, Marco Mazzola. I'm joined again today by Mila. Say hello, Mila.
Hello.
And we have another special guest with us today. If you listen to our recap episode of episode 3 of What If, you'll know him. His name is Mike Bro from The Bro Show. He's an old friend of mine. Mike, say hello.
Rock on, everybody. Hello, and
There it is. Mike is a friend of mine. We're not going to go into it again. Hopefully, go back and listen to the other episode, our What If episode. But Mike's been a good friend of mine for how many years now? When did you start at Cambridge Soundworks?
I started in Cambridge Soundworks October of 1999 when hi-fi.com went online for the first time ever.
That's right. So we've been friends since 99. So I started there in 94. Like right out of high school. So then, that's right. And then you came on board right with the hi-fi.com. Wow, that's been a long time, my friend.
I know.
Mike's been collecting toys for how many years have you been sort of in the collector's world, would you say?
In the collector's world officially probably since 93, 94, right when I got out of high school, because I was working at KB Toys and then FAO Schwartz after that.
Yeah. Rest in peace, both shops there.
Oh, my gosh.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so always fun.
Yeah, definitely. So today, gang, we're going to talk about our take on Marvel movies versus DC movies. I have a feeling I know how this is going to go, but you might have some surprises, maybe some unpopular opinions. We're going to talk in depth on some of the movies. So if you haven't seen certain things or something you're waiting to see, make sure that we're going to do a lot of spoilers. So make sure you go and watch it and then come back and if you haven't seen everything. All right. All right. So let's go. Let's get into it. I'm going to start, of course, with Mike, my guest, and I want to hear your. Give me an overall. Give me a one sentence synopsis on what you think the states are right now.
Right now, as of right now, Marvel greater than DC. Hands down.
Okay, Mila, would you agree, disagree, or none of the above?
Let's see. Marvel greater than DC, hands down.
All right.
I think I would say, Marvel doing better than DC.
Okay, but this is talking strictly movies now, right?
Yes.
Now? Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. We're gonna get into everything else too. We can get into animated, features and things like that. Although we know that Marvel's now crushing it with What If, but we'll get into that as well. And I think it's a 3 for 3. I grew up DC. Mike, you probably know that.
Yep.
I am a huge Batman fan. 90% of my collection when I was growing up.
Confirm.
My Mila, I don't know if you ever saw my bedroom picture of my Batman collection.
I think you did show me that picture
from around the 89 period when the Batman 89 came out. My
I've never met such a big fan of Batman.
It was ridiculous. It was all things Batman. I love Superman. I love DC. I grew up with DC, but then they just have not, in my opinion, been able to pull it together on the movie stuff. Like I don't know. But we'll get into that. So, Mike, go ahead. Give me your take. What do you feel brings Marvel to a greater stance right now than DC? What's going on there?
I think the fact that with Marvel, ever since Iron Man 2007, they've had a centralized story that they were heading towards with each different phase. And they had, a key group of people keeping that together, whether it be Kevin Feige or Jon Favreau or anything like that. And every story was its own individual. You had Captain America, you had Thor, you had Iron Man, you had Iron Man 2. Then you had the Avengers coming up right after that. All of that was a centralized story that led to the formation of the Avengers. But they also laid kernels and groundwork for following phases every time. They had it planned out. I don't even want to imagine the flowchart they created. But
I couldn't even imagine what that must look like.
God.
They started planning. They had to plan everything out so far in advance. Whereas DC, I think they planned out things, those first couple of movies when they started the Snyder universe, let's say, for Justice League.
The Snyderverse. We'll get into that.
Yeah. They tried to start it there, but then they veered off course somewhere. And they had too many hands in the pot trying to control the storyline and stuff. I'm like, Disney was smart. When they bought everything, boom, they kept it focused. And ever since then, it's stayed focused. And I think that's the key to it.
I think you're right. Do you feel like if there wasn't, say everything's still the same except there isn't one overarching story like in a phase like the Infinity Saga with Thanos, and they were just more individualized movies, maybe somewhat interconnected, right? They know about
Right.
each other. Maybe somebody appears in this movie, but there's not one overarching story. Do you think it would have been the same?
I think it would have been the same, at least with the Marvel side, because the tone and the look would have still been kept consistent. Disney would not let that not happen, if
Right.
that makes sense. They
Yep.
would say, no,
Right.
we need to have, this is our same universe. We want everything to look the same. We don't want something that's done in this story that could affect this secondary story here, for this other movie, not be addressed at least,
Right.
if that makes sense. But they don't
Yep.
necessarily have to interconnect it completely. Let's say Fantastic Four had something happen, Galactus destroys their building in their movie. Then they show a Spider-Man film, and all of a sudden, Spider-Man swinging by the remains of that film
The
or of that
rubble, yeah.
building. Yeah, exactly. They don't have to tell the same story. They don't have to interconnect. They just acknowledge it. Kind
Right.
of like what Defenders did on Netflix. They acknowledged the events of the
Right.
movies, but they
Yes.
never actually interconnected with the movies.
Yeah, the incident.
Yeah.
They called it the incident
Yeah,
in New York.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
was
So
cool.
I think the quality would still be there. Would we have as big a movie gross or movie blockbuster with like Endgame or anything at that point? I don't know. That would be
No.
tough.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so the bigger, like you said, the bigger groupings or the bigger end game story might not have taken place without it. So
Right.
that obviously
Yeah.
kicks it into another level. So this is just sticking on the Marvel side, not really acknowledging the DC side yet. So we're just sticking on the Marvels. But I agree with you. I do like that they did interconnect a little bit with the Netflix shows, even though those have gone away. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., same thing. They called it the incident, but it wasn't, I do like the fact that now with the multiverse stuff, they're bringing everything into it, including
Right,
Netflix.
exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
the Netflix show is
Yeah.
going to start kind of making part of their universe. The rumors are that Charlie Cox is in the new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
basically they're touting him as being his lawyer because he gets
No
arrested for being
way!
Spider-Man basically, and it's the
Oh,
images
that's so
shots
cool.
is him. You see
Yep.
somebody with a white shirt on
Yeah.
with his arm on the table, and it's a very hairy Charlie Cox
His,
arm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So people think that's actually
Oh,
him
man.
in the movie. So then now we're starting to bring that in.
Oh, I'm
My
so
question is,
excited.
how are they going to bring in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Because basically with the multiverse, everything is canon. We talked
Right.
about that.
Yep.
But the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., are they going to start to bring any of that part into it at all? And are we going to see Coulson back in and people acknowledging that Coulson is alive?
Right.
Right? Because the original Avengers, he dies.
And a lot of the people that would be like upset about that, the fact that he didn't die actually might be are gone. We have Natasha's gone, we have Captain America's gone, we have Iron Man gone.
Well, he's not gone. He's just old.
Right. Well, yeah.
We never see him die.
Yeah.
He's just old.
He's just
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was kind of wondering that. I was like, where did Captain America go?
Yeah,
Because
he's
like
just old. He's just kind of he's
what was
kicking
it?
around. Peggy's gone. He's just old.
yeah, they're
He's old cat.
like, oh no, Captain America, he's gone.
Yeah,
Like
no, he's
like
not
in
gone anywhere.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, I was like, oh no, yeah, he didn't
He
die.
didn't
He's just
die.
kind of chilling
No.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Where
he's
is
living
he?
out the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He's walking around with a vibranium, walker.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
One speedy old dude.
Dealing with his blue chew. So yeah, absolutely. I think that's another great part that they can start bringing all this stuff in, and it's just going to
Yep.
expand it and make it even more enticing and more exciting for people because you now have all these parts. Obviously, with Spider-Man being involved in it, we've seen in the new Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. You got Doc Ock is confirmed. You had you had
that's so
Green
exciting.
Goblin. His
Yeah.
bomb, his pumpkin
Willem
bombs in
Dafoe.
there from the original Spider-Man, the Tobey
Right.
Maguire one. There's some other shots people think like Sandman's in there, like Electro's
Yep.
coming in.
Oh yeah, it's
know.
gonna be huge.
I love how much
And
they're
it's
trying
awesome.
to say that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are not in it.
yeah, they're
come
like,
on.
I swear
right.
he's
Really?
not in it.
You're
But,
gonna
like,
have their
come on.
villains in there, but not the actual Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think so.
especially after how well the Into the Spider-Verse did.
Yeah.
I'd be half shocked if Spider-Ham didn't make an appearance somehow in this freaking movie.
I would
which I would
love
love,
that.
by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You don't even have to have Miles Morales, although I'd love to see him in there.
No, I
They've
definitely
already-
want to see a Miles
Oh, that'd be
Morales. Yes.
sick. Oh my gosh.
Maybe if we
Yep.
don't have it in this movie because that's like really throwing too much.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Throwing
There's
too
already
much into one. There's already
so
going to be an
much
ass
in
ton
this
in this
movie
with
right now.
Doctor Strange. And then, of course, there's the new question, is that really Doctor Strange that we saw?
I think it is. I think it is.
I think it's
still.
Doctor Strange.
I don't know.
I'm pretty
I don't
sure it's
know.
Doctor
I think so
Strange.
too, but there's definitely that part of me that goes, yeah, I mean, he's sitting there in his, in his jammies essentially.
Yeah.
He gives him that wink. You know what I mean? It seemed a little too playful for Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And as good as he is, he's still allowed
Although
Peter's
he's also the
yakking
guy
to
that
screw
just
everything
started
up.
messing around with like time. He was like, "Don't touch the time stone." He goes, "Don't touch the time stone."
He gives him the
Steals
wink,
the
like
time
we're
stone,
still gonna do this.
almost breaks time for a hot second. It's like,
Well,
no, sorry.
that's considered one of the parts that breaks the multiverse is him
Yeah.
doing that. So I don't know.
Yep.
I think it's a good question. I think it's a good question to see, is that really Doctor Strange or not, right? Especially with all the what do you call them out there? The shapeshifters, you know what I mean? All them coming in through.
Oh, Skrulls, yeah.
The Skrulls, thank you.
Yeah.
Every once in a
Well,
while
we
I get
have
these
that.
memory
That's going to be a
blanks, drives
show
me crazy.
too. Skrull Invasion. That's going to be a whole Disney Plus TV show.
Right?
And
Really?
And the TV
So
shows
I've read that it might be Mephisto.
I have heard.
Did you see that
too?
Did you see the
tossed around.
comic panel shots?
Yep.
The comic panel of Mephisto standing in front of the fireplace in almost the exact same position as Doctor Strange was in that trailer.
I don't deny that. It's
Yeah,
a
but didn't they say
possibility.
this about another thing?
Oh, they were
like,
touting
oh,
Mephisto for the last
like,
like 14
WandaVision.
Yeah,
shows.
in WandaVision, they're like, "Oh no, it's Mephisto," and then they're like,
It
"Haha,
wasn't.
gotcha, it's still not Mephisto.
It's still
Please
not.
stop saying
Yep.
Mephisto."
And they're half saying, in Captain America Winter Soldier, the fact that it was Mephisto who made the shield or made, evil Captain America. No.
No, it's again still not Mephisto.
Nope.
And the thing is, people standing in front of fireplaces, it's not unheard of.
I know. But
They
so
do
it's
that a lot of movies. They
But
stand, and
I
you know
agree.
what? 99.9% of the time, it's not Mephisto. Actually, 100% of the time, it
so
hasn't been Mephisto.
so far. But I think with Marvel, they're really good at doing the hints. They're really good at laying those little Easter eggs in there and catching stuff. And they want it to be revealed when it's supposed to be revealed. Although I think 90% of the leaks are on purpose.
Well, now, hold on. There was a really cool little detail from the WandaVision TV show that was pointed out recently. The fact that on the calendar in the first episode, they had August 23rd circled as a big important date. And what day did the Spider-Man trailer hit officially? August 23rd.
Yeah. So
wasn't that by accident?
No.
Or
none of it's by accident.
You're right.
Not with that machine.
Not
I don't
even the
think
leak.
so.
Not even the leak that came out the day before was an accident. I think that was planned to build.
Absolutely. I'd be surprised. I hate to be that skeptic, that conspiracy theory guy, but I think they're doing everything.
All part of the plan.
I think it's all part of their planning. It's all part of that Disney back up the brain struck plan.
That's how I'm kind of thinking of like Tom Holland, because at first I was like, he keeps spoiling it, and then
but it drives
kind of quickly. I'm like, I don't know. It seems on
it virals. It makes everything go viral. It drives
because it's not that hard to not spoil something.
No. But I was saying the other day, I'm like, they should just hold their pay in escrow, like JB Smoove just spoiled that, basically said, I enjoyed working with Tobey Maguire. Like, he was the one I was enjoying working with. He just said it in an interview. Like, it just seems like, listen, do an escrow account for their pay, and every time they open their stupid mouth, take 1,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or take 10,000 every time you open your damn mouth.
They could easily do that. That probably is on the contract.
Oh, it's definitely in the contract.
Oh my
Spoiler
God.
stuff is definitely in their contract. Their non-disclosures are all over that.
Yeah.
Let's also not forget that it wasn't the big Disney machine that planned the whole thing with viral video making something happen. It was all Ryan Reynolds. He was the one who really did it the first time.
That's right.
Yep.
Deadpool. That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What are your, before we get back to, because I want to go into this, what is your take? And we'll get back to the movie side of it. The Scarlett Johansson lawsuit to Disney. I have my take on it, but I want to hear yours.
Honestly, I think depending on the contract, how it is actually worded, and the way it sounds like it was worded is the fact that they said, if we're going to do a theatrical release with this movie, you'll absolutely get your full pay and everything.
Yeah.
And they didn't renegotiate that to say Disney Plus as well, and they're trying to hold back money from her. So is she right in suing? Absolutely. If they're breaking the contract word for word.
I think she's completely in the right here.
I think she's completely in the right because once they realize, because obviously the contract was signed
they really
years
just
ago.
cheated her out of millions of dollars.
It was signed
there.
years ago, well before the pandemic, so they had no idea this was going to happen. But once you knew it was going to happen, and you knew you were going to switch from only in theatrical to a split and do a streaming, it absolutely should have been renegotiated. And her lawyer should have done that too. Like, her lawyer should have gone on and said, we need to renegotiate because you're going to lose money in theaters, and that's just naturally going to happen. We need a piece of the streaming budget. We have to have a piece of the streaming.
I
have a sneaky suspicion her lawyer was trying to do that on the back end without it hitting the public or anything like that.
Right.
And when he saw that Disney it wasn't going to happen, when he
But
saw
Disney
that
said
wasn't
no
going to
because
happen.
as much as
Yeah.
I love the Disney stuff and the Disney brand,
Yep.
they're greedy. And the
Yeah.
reality is, had she broken a contract in any way, if she was
Yep.
supposed to eat strawberry gum and eat blueberry gum, they'd have sued her ass because that's what Disney does.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're very lawsuit happy.
And they waited
Okay.
until after a
Definitely,
certain
yeah.
point, and they were like, you know what? Now we can say publicly we're suing.
Yeah.
Boom, and not
And she
be
deserves to. She
affected
deserves to
from
get
it.
her money because I think that, I understand that it might not be as much because the reality is what you have to look at is even if you released it in theaters only, the way the contract stated, she would not have made as much as they thought because
Right.
people are still scared to go to the theaters. So
Exactly.
nobody's making as much in the theaters as they want to or as they would have pre-pandemic.
Right.
Even
But if
though
people are
some places,
paying-
but especially now with the Delta, but even before that, take a couple of
Yep.
months ago when things seemed to be evening out and be okay, there was still theaters were empty. People, I know people going in. I was the only one in the theater today. I went to see
Yeah.
a movie.
Yep.
So people are still not going out. Okay. Some people would have. They feel safe. Some people will go to the theater because it's only available in the theater. But you have the choice to stay home and stay safe.
Yep.
I did.
And
I watched it.
even
I
if you're-
paid my $30.
Yeah,
And
and
I,
if
you
you're
know what I
doing
mean?
your
And I
30
stayed
bucks,
home. I watched it a bunch of times.
and she could have had a percentage of that. It could have been they negotiated instead of 5% of a movie sale ticket. They could have said, okay, you get 33% of a Disney
Right.
Plus ticket. Because you're having multiple viewings or whatnot from that one ticket purchase.
Right.
Right.
So
And,
and they could have
I know
eaten
for
that
myself
cost.
alone, I like to speak generally from myself and not necessarily the other people, but I have a 1-year-old at home. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I might feel safe. I'm vaccinated, but it doesn't mean I want to go out to the theater if there's going to be a crowded theater. If I'm the only person, I'm okay
Yeah.
with that. If there's only
Yeah.
5 other people, I'm not going to sit near them. I don't have a struggle with that. But I'm not going to go to a
Exactly.
crowded theater and then take something home to my 1-year-old who can't get vaccinated. It's just the way I feel.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? And people can feel any way they want. I'm just speaking about how I feel about it. So you
And
would
that's
not,
fair.
even though, you know what I mean? You would not get my money in the theater. I want to see
Take your time. Take your time.
Shang-Chi. Wow. Oh boy.
Yep.
Shang-Chi. But
Oh, wow.
it's only going to be in the theaters. So I still have to contemplate, am I going to go?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
First
it
I
may
gotta
be
find
that
time
you
to
don't go
As I
see
said,
it.
I have a 1-year-old, but am I going to go to see it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, do you go on
Right.
opening night or do you go on like a Tuesday when there's nobody in the theater?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd have to go on a
You know?
weekend or something like that because I have to watch my son, which I love doing every day.
Or you
know
could go
what I
to
mean?
a theater that's like in the middle of nowhere because that's where I recently saw Free Guy.
I'm
in
not
theaters.
traveling out that far.
That was like I was like, oh, like a
Oh,
like a
man.
small town house.
But man,
I was
does
like,
Shang-Chi look awesome.
It does.
Oh yeah,
I
it looks
can't
so
wait.
cool.
Really good. It really good. And
First,
there's-
I'll have to actually figure out who Shang-Chi is,
listen, you.
and then
So,
I'll watch
Well,
it.
that's what, what, going back to the whole movie thing and how Marvel does things great. With Marvel, the fact that every story that we've told so far, everybody knew a little bit about each one. Iron Man, they knew it was rich billionaire, playboy, whatnot. They knew Captain
Right.
America was whatever. I trust them to tell a story of a character we don't know that much about because they did it with Captain Marvel. Not a lot of people knew her story. They did it with Hulk, where a lot of people didn't know his story. And even though
more
those
so
weren't
with Guardians.
exactly
Right,
and,
right. They did
Guardians was
an
the
excellent job with
10-cent
Guardians.
bin comic
Yep.
before that movie came out. I didn't know. I've been in comics in my whole life, and I didn't know jack shit about Guardians of the Galaxy until that movie came out, and they're awesome. I still haven't bought a comic yet because but I love the movies. I care about the characters because of the movies. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? So,
If
and
Marvel
those
can
are
do
some of my favorite Marvel movies.
Yeah,
If Marvel can do that, I think they can do the same thing with Shang-Chi, and they have an unconventional cast for what they've done with it. And for the broader audience, this is the first time that we have full Asian casting, which I love. Like I think that's amazing, and the fact that we're getting a comedian too, Aquafina in there as well, which is
Which I've seen on
an
some
unusual
grumblings about on the web.
choice. What?
I've seen some grumblings about her on the web.
It's an
People
unusual
just get
choice.
so
but again,
hyped.
I think it's going to be great. Like
I think it's
love
gonna
the
be great.
fact.
I think it's gonna be great. I think people just get too
Yeah.
ahead of themselves and too hyped, and they're always looking for something to shit on.
Yeah,
She does
sometimes-
this. And
Yeah.
she says she doesn't do Asian accents, but yes, she does this. Like, just watch the freaking movie. Enjoy the freaking movie. Why do we need controversy for every single thing that comes out? Do we have to have something to butt up against?
Exactly.
Right? Like,
Oh my
just
God.
shut up and watch the damn movie and enjoy it,
Is
or
Sam
don't
Jackson
enjoy
going
it.
to be in there and people are going to be upset because he has an eye patch? Come on. Is he a pirate or what? Come on. No. he's
Exactly.
Nick Fury.
It's just frustrating. There's plenty
Yeah.
in the movie itself or in movies themselves to be upset
Right.
about. Right? I mean, Nolan verse.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's plenty. There's plenty to be. I will say that every single time.
that's so funny.
It's true. I will drop that every freaking time with that freaking Nolan
You
verse
will.
crap. Every time.
Every single Nolan.
Bane of my
Batman
existence.
version.
Anytime a crappy movie comes out, Nolan verse.
What are
It's
you
just-
saying? I would love to be able to talk to you about the Nolan verse.
The Nolan verse.
Me, Mr.
We're
Margo?
gonna get there. We'll get there. We can get there today if you want to, because that load of pile of crap.
It's funny. I thought I had like a pretty like fine opinion. Now I'm like,
Then you heard me rant on it for an hour
I'm
straight
like Jesus.
by
I'm
myself.
like Yeah, I liked the movies.
Yeah.
I didn't like how the last one ended, but other than that, I was like,
then she heard me rant on it for an hour, and now not only hates the movie, but went back and rethought her life.
Oh my god.
You're like,
Oh my
oh
god.
my god, that was the single worst movie, and I'm like,
three
oh my
piles
god.
of crap, with the exception of Heath Ledger. Other than Heath
Yeah.
Ledger, that was just 3 piles of
I
crap.
loved Tom
turds.
Hardy's Bane though. Tom Hardy's Bane.
That was awful. He was okay.
I liked him.
He was okay. He did a good job for what they asked him to do.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody cared who I was until I took off, and put on the mask. Like, shut up. I don't care.
But nobody could understand.
Yeah, they had to redub his voice because nobody could understand him originally on the original watches. That was
So,
until I turned off, put on the mask. Like, shut up.
Let's put
It
it
was
this way.
horrible.
The Nolanverse was a great way to say what was not good about DC from time to time. Were there great parts about those films? Absolutely. I will say that. And I liked how...
Not of the third one.
Well, third one's a whole...
Third one had no redeeming parts to it whatsoever, other than the fact that Batman was in it, but even he was crap.
Right.
I loved
Well, he
the
wasn't
Two-Face
barely in it.
with multiple of those scenes, but the one where like he has to pick which building to go to save
Yes.
either Harvey or
save my girly friend who's not my girlfriend.
Right.
He's so hell-bent on saving this woman who is not his girlfriend.
It's so
he
funny.
Is not
you hate
sleeping with her.
every aspect about this movie.
Other than Heath
every
Ledger's
single
performance,
aspect.
his version of the Joker. Other than that, it was just three big
so
piles
funny.
of turds.
Like every tiny
I liked
detail
the
you hate.
training stuff in the first movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the training portion of it.
I liked him getting his materials to make the bat suit, like picking out and how he was doing it through shell companies and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, you saw
Although
that
it did look
hiding.
like a Batman helmet, even that just one part of it. So somebody would have figured that shit out. But you know what I mean? But yeah, I get it. So my biggest struggle, since we're there anyway, my biggest struggle with the whole Nolanverse stuff is because it was so hyper realistic, like it was a cop and a cape movie, 3 of them, just like this could really happen. Like, no, it can't. There's a reason it's a superhero movie because none of this shit can actually happen. So stop trying to make it seem like this could actually happen because every time you do, you fall on your face. And this crap that this guy's doing is not going to happen. That's why, like the '89 Batman, and of course, even the Snyderverse, which I'm not thrilled with, it understands that it's a comic book movie, and this is crap that cannot happen.
That's like Shazam. Shazam completely understood that whole thing.
Fun
because that wasn't trying to be serious. It was this is a superhero movie about a kid who becomes like a man to be a superhero.
It's big with a cape.
Well, it all starts with X-Men. X-Men, while the first 3 films were, let me phrase that. The first one was good. The second one was great. The third one was,
I liked First Class.
Yeah. No, the second
first
series,
one.
First Class, that was great. Days of Future Past, I love. Those got it right because they put them in
Age of
their
Apocalypse
right
can go to hell.
Yeah, no,
that would just take a big turd on all of us.
Yep.
It had one good scene. Quicksilver saving everybody. That was it.
Quicksilver saving everybody. And the brief second, we talked about this before, the brief second of seeing people in actual X-Men costumes at the very end in the Danger Room.
Which you never see again. You don't even see in the next
that film. Nothing pissed me off more than the entire X-Men series that we got a half a second of seeing people in actual X-Men costumes.
Even
we've been waiting
Cyclops
for 20 years.
Costume.
Remember the Wolverine movie?
When did the first one come out? The first X-Men?
2000. 2001.
Yeah. So we were waiting 20 years essentially to see them in real X-Men comic book costumes. We got a half a second of it, and that's it. They chat on us and go, "Hi, too bad, fuckers, you get nothing. That's all you get."
As Mila is even saying, Wolverine Origins was okay.
Yeah.
The Wolverine was actually a really great film, and we got the tease at the end of the original brown suit costume.
Once again, a little tease, and they give us the finger and say goodbye. You're never going to see that. Did you enjoy that? You're never seeing it again.
And then they give us Logan, which is a phenomenal movie, but not what we needed.
Yeah.
You know,
like
that should have been a 4th film.
It's like your parents surprising you with a brochure for Disney. You go, doesn't this look awesome? Yeah, you're never going.
You're going to go to Disneyland store that's,
which is closing now too.
Are you talking about when the Wolverine gets the like suit with like the yellow? I think that's a horrible idea to put that on that guy.
No, but that's his costume.
I know.
But that's his
costume.
So glad
that's
what people have been waiting to see for 20 years.
I will never ever.
But I guarantee you they'll do that in the Marvel stuff. When they bring him into Marvel stuff, he's going to be in costume.
I'm trusting with Marvel. The first time we're going to see a mutant, is in an Incredible Hulk film. And
I think it might be in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
You think so?
That's what I've been reading online. They said that because Doctor Strange has to basically take down Wanda, they bring in Professor Xavier to do it.
I was really hoping that
I could see that.
That's what I read. I read that again. It's it's rumors. It's whatever you take with a grain of salt.
Wolverine himself. I'm talking about Wolverine himself. I think they'll bring him in a Hulk film because we're going to get our classic Hulk versus Wolverine.
I hope so. I know that they're going to start working on the Hulk stuff again, right? They're getting it from Universal to try to start doing Hulk stuff again, doing his standalone stuff, which is why he hasn't been able to have his own standalone movie. One, because I think people have a hard time thinking he's going to carry his own movie again. Because the last one didn't do great.
It did not.
But I think you're good. You're definitely going to make a different opinion if you bring Wolverine into it.
Exactly.
And you know what I mean? That'll definitely up the game. And
what you do is you do a series of 3 Hulk films, and it's Hulk versus, and you do Hulk versus Wolverine, Hulk versus the Thing.
Mm-hmm.
You need that one, and then Hulk versus Thor. That's it. That's how you do your 3 films. Done. Yep. And if Disney will do it, I think it'll be a brilliant move. That's what they do. Hulk versus whatever.
Jackman's not going to do it again. Who's doing it? Who's doing Wolverine?
I've heard references of Daniel Radcliffe thinking about doing it. And I was like,
I think somebody needs to shoot him in the leg before they do that.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know. That could be an unconventional casting. Yeah. I don't know. I just saw him doing some weird dance thing in drag or whatnot.
I'd be as excited to see Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine as I am to see what's-his-face doing the new Batman.
Nolan?
No.
Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, Robert Pattinson's Batman. I'll be just as excited to see that, which means to say not at all. Not at all. So let's get into that. Let's get into the Batman horrible looking ridiculousness they're about to put out.
I don't know.
Not that I just gave out my opinion right off the bat, but go for it.
It looks like it's trying to be too much of a film noir type movie or something, which it works for Batman, but you need to have, like you said before, the superhero look to it. You don't need a big buffed out Ben Affleck Batman, but you need maybe one that looks like Michael Keaton Batman.
It's Batman year one.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to see somebody with some sort of a stature because Batman is, in you look at it in comics, he's almost as big as Superman most of the time. He's not as strong as Superman. Obviously, Superman is Superman.
Clearly.
But stature-wise, he's about as big as Superman. I think Superman's just a little taller.
Yeah.
But so you get somebody like even Michael Keaton was tiny, but certainly Christian Bale was a midget compared to pardon the phrase. You know what I mean? He was a little guy compared to what they should be, and even but Robert Pattinson's taller than Christian Bale, but he's not built. You know what I mean? There's only so much working out you can do to be built. Like Ben Affleck was able to bulk up for his Batman role, and then add the suit on top of it, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
I'm going on a tangent. It's very superficial, but the car, I don't like the car.
It's year one car, but I think even the '89 Batman was technically year one,
right?
And they had a much better car.
Had some flair. Yeah, he had some flair to it.
Car. Yeah, absolute
the Nolan car was really good.
The Nolan car was a piece of crap. I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought it was cool.
The Tumbler?
Yeah.
It didn't look like a
Batmobile. Should have
Batmobile.
tumbled its way right off my screen.
That thing was sick.
That thing was ridiculous.
It was like a tank car.
Yeah, exactly. It was a tank car.
I thought it was
ridiculous.
I thought it was really
with big wheels.
It was super big.
And
big Hot Wheels wheels.
I was like,
that was horrific.
I thought it was really cool.
It was the worst of them.
It's one of the coolest vehicles I've ever seen.
The Snyderverse Batmobile
that thing was
way
gold.
Better.
It was so cool.
The Snyderverse Batmobile, which unrealistic and big wheels and all that, was way better than that Tumbler piece of crap. It just looked like a little tank. It had no resemblance to a Batmobile whatsoever.
Exactly.
When you see a Batmobile,
cool, so
you should be able to look at it and go, that's a Batmobile. It looked nothing like a Batmobile.
I looked at it and I was like, wow, I bet Batman would ride that because it's really sick looking.
No,
you are out of your mind.
No.
That thing
the only true
Batmobile
ever is the 1966 Batmobile. I'm sorry, I'm saying it.
It's still going to be there, but
it's neat. I like it. It's recognizable.
Did you hear that? It's neat. What kind of crap comment is that? It's neat. I love you to pieces, but good. It's
I
neat.
love it. No, the thing is, I love them for different reasons. I love the 66 one because I'm like,
cool.
I'm like, oh, look at that. It's the Batmobile.
Yeah.
And then I see the Tumbler, I'm like, that's so sick.
It's a tank.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But that was the point with the whole Nolan. It's one of my problems with the whole Nolan verse. Nothing in there screamed Batman.
There was
about
never a Bat logo.
See, you happen to have
the way,
Bat
logo the way I've seen it,
the Batarang. That was it. No Bat logo.
The way I've seen it is the fact that I never grew up with Batman.
True.
That was my first viewing of Batman.
And that's why I
didn't even know the 1966 thing.
That's why I'm sorry for you.
So that was my view of the Batman. Right. So now I'm like, I see stuff like the
real stuff,
what's his name? The The one that's gonna do a Batman movie soon.
Robert Pattinson.
I see his, and I'm like,
easy name to forget. I keep doing it too.
I'm like, the thing is, I don't really remember the trailer all that often, but I do remember it was a similar tone.
Really done much.
The only thing I didn't really like was the fact that it was similar, and I was like, what are you trying to like remake it?
Yeah,
or something.
The Robert Pattinson stuff. I mean, I get it. It's year one, but like even his costume. Thank you, Mike.
Batman.
Even his costume looks like the Gotham one. They premiered at the end of the Gotham show.
Right.
It looked like so homemade.
Like,
it looked like crap. A billionaire is not going to make a homemade looking costume even year one. He's got a little bit more, to put behind it. Same with the Batmobile itself, which is why the 89 stuff, for as unrealistic as that is, was more realistic in a Batman world.
Yeah,
exactly.
In a Batman universe made way more sense. You know what I'm saying? The stylized look of the Gotham, the Nolan Gotham, it looked like New York. I mean, it was downtown Chicago. Like it just looked like a real city.
Yeah.
And the whole DC atmosphere, even Metropolis, which looks kind of like City of the Future, but compared to Gotham, which looks like, rundown Gothic, big gargoyles and crap like that. Nolan's Gotham didn't look like that at all. It was just like a city anybody can walk into.
Oh.
It just didn't make any sense to me. So that's why, and I know that was your first introduction to Batman, and it was for a lot of people. Yep. And that's what makes me sad. Somebody who's lived with this character since the 70s, essentially, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And beyond, and gone back and looked at, read comics and watched the 66 show over and over again. It makes me sad for people. Like that is their first introduction, is somebody who mistreated and clearly knew nothing about the character. That's how he got a hold of it and ran with it, and they allowed him to do that. Him and David S. Goyer for 3 movies, and Goyer still, and Nolan still has a little bit to do with the stuff that happens now in the Snyderverse.
Yeah,
and to see their names appear on any of the stuff make me cringe.
Right. And, I've grown up with like all the like gothic, like dark like DC characters.
Yeah.
Like and that's my view. That had been my view of them for the longest time. I was like, oh yeah, DC's just like everything DC makes is just darker.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know, a couple years ago, I went and saw like the 1966 Batman because I was on like a kick of like all those like older shows. And I saw
The Bright Knight, as he used to call it.
Yes.
Yeah. And I saw the 66 Batman, and I was like, what is this? This is so ridiculous. Like I saw the movie and I was like, oh my God, I actually really love this.
Yeah.
And then I was like watching that, and then I just see like what it is now, and I'm like, oh wow, that's very different.
What were you gonna say, Mike?
No. Well, the fact that you have so many different interpretations of Batman alone the last 5 decades or whatnot on media like this, whereas you have something like Star Trek or Star Wars that have run for as long, if not longer, and they've kept the same story consistent, the same look consistent. Yes. And even now with Star Trek, where they've had different mediums like animation and everything, Star Wars, animation, everything, it's all the same story and interconnected and still looks great. They even fit things in with
even
Batman,
the same vibe too.
Exactly. Whereas Batman, everything's different. And that's where the problem is. Exactly. That's where the difference is.
I get it. Like the character, even in the comics, has gone through some different iterations, right? The original, he was very dark. And you know what I mean? At one point he had a gun. Like it was very different. Then of course in the 50s and everything, so the 40s and the 50s, everything had to lighten up. Code. He was smiling and fighting aliens and not fighting like real villains, things like that. And then in the 70s when Neil Adam and Denny O'Neil got a hold of him, they brought him back to the Dark Knight Detective and changed and made him more gritty. Yep. And then of course, like we've talked about this before, when they got a hold of him for the Dark Knight Returns, right? And then that happened and everything was gritty from then on.
I'd like to see a movie where he is like a detective.
Yeah, they haven't really done that. Although this one might do it a little bit more.
I've seen video games.
That's what they've been talking about.
Yeah, they're talking about this one. He's a little bit more detective-like.
Yeah. I think that would be really cool.
I think some of the casting has been ridiculous. Pattinson, first of all, I'm not really a fan of, but I understand nobody was a fan of Michael Keaton either, and he did a great job. Nobody was a fan of thinking that Ben Affleck was going to do it, and he's still one of my favorite Batman. Because I think he did a great job with crap movies, with crap scripts. He did a great job as Batman.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He just got stuck in bad movies. But, so Pattinson could be. But then you have Penguin being played by, oh, God. What's his name? Oh, wow. Every time I do this.
Oh.
No. So you got Alfred being played by Gollum. What's his name?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. I just remember him as Gollum.
Andy Serkis, thank you. Alfred's being played by Andy Serkis, but you have who played Bullseye in the original?
Oh, that was Colin Farrell.
Thank you, Colin Farrell. Wow, my brain is just shot. 45 and it's gone, baby. Colin Farrell is playing the Penguin. He doesn't look like the Penguin.
Wait, show me a picture.
He looks like just a thug. He looks like just like a henchman. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
It's not quite the same.
That that's what he is. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all.
They're trying to
if anything, I'd rather see Andy Serkis as
do an
that would fit more.
That would make more sense to me. Do you know what I mean? And then then you could see maybe Colin Farrell be a good Alfred.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that would make sense because it's the time period.
And Robert Pattinson simply not in the movie.
And then Robert Pattinson definitely not in the movie at all.
No, that's the TV show Gotham.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
So, and again, so my struggle with it is, and I guess I know it's the first year, but much like the Nolanverse stuff, nobody is really who they are in the comics. Right, Bane was not Bane. He was just a big dude who, had a little, gas to make him not crazy. Not, he didn't get annoyed so much because the gas calmed him down. Right. They have, what's her name playing Selena Kyle, the cat burglar. She's never called Catwoman in the movies because, heaven forbid, in Nolan's world, anybody was actually called what they are in the comics. Do you know what I'm saying? Or actually played. But you know what I mean? It was so separated from the comic world that's what annoyed me. Like, you talked about this iterations, but they all somehow harkened back to the original source material. And his felt like it just didn't. Like, it almost seemed like the original source material was an annoyance to him. Like, I have to throw this in there because that's part of the lore, but I'm going to take it as far away from that as possible to make it my own thing. So going back to what you said versus DC versus Marvel, whereas Marvel, because it's controlled by Disney and controlled by Marvel itself, and Kevin Feige has his own, they have their vision for it. Everything harkens back to some version of the comics, whether it's the Ultimate series or the original series. Everything looks like it's attached to the original comics. You can look at a costume and know exactly who that is, and you see some resemblance as to what it was.
Yeah. They still have a personal connection to
their
motivations,
the fans of comics. Right? The way the character's treated is much like you've been reading in the comics for decades.
What I really love is there's a great example with Spider-Man himself. You have 3 different iterations of Spider-Man, much like you have multiple iterations of Batman. With Spider-Man, the first 2 movie series, you got to see how he got his powers, the spider bite and everything, and how it happened. The 3rd series of movies where he's in with the Marvel in the MCU with Tom Holland, you actually never see that.
And that was smart.
That was really smart.
We didn't need it.
He didn't need it. And that was the brilliant way to do it. You knew the history already because of these other 2 movies.
Right.
But
we don't need a freaking origin story. And I think Batman's the same way, right? This new Pattinson one, like, I don't need another origin. I swear to God,
if I see one more scene
you're going to see how
where
his
the parents die one more time, I'm going to lose my sneakers.
You're going to get it's a year 1 story. There's no way they're not somehow going to have some sort of flashback scene to the freaking pearls hitting the ground.
Every single
it's like they
time
can't
without
handle
fail.
Not doing it. DC cannot handle not doing the origin. We get it. We understand. He's mopey because his parents died. Okay? He's mopey because his parents died. Now, let's go back to the Nolan
name. Martha, why'd you say that name? Yeah, exactly.
That's a whole other. We'll get there. We'll get there to the Martha because that's my other thing. But going back to the Nolan one, and you got that happening again, right? We're seeing the parents die, and he's pissy about it. That's why he becomes Batman. Until the 3rd movie, and he took off for 7 years because his girlfriend, who was not his girlfriend, died.
Right.
And he stops being Batman. Because somebody he's not in love with, somebody he's not in love with him, somebody he's not dating dies. He stops being Batman for 7 years. What a load of crap. That would have made him fight harder, not take 7 years off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And the only reason that was a story, first, that was a trope, that was a way to get, the kid who was not Robin to grow up, right? The one who saw him and he got the secret orphan Annie wink. Hey, I'm Batman wink in the orphanage, to grow up and become an idiot, useless cop who drives everybody underground, can't shoot a gun or throw a punch. All of a sudden now he's Robin. He's going to be bad. He takes over the keys to the Batcave. Okay. He's the cause of the whole movie. All right. So that's certainly the one you want to give the keys to the Batman cave because he's really bright. Okay. But that's the only reason. He took 7 years off so that kid could grow up. Then he can strap on the magic brace. Okay. That, he has hidden away, and he's had this really bad limp. He's been in his room doing room archery, the next Olympic event, by the way. Okay, he's in his room doing room archery, and all of a sudden he slaps on the brace, and he's right back to being Batman again. Okay, that made no sense. It was extremely lazy writing. All right, he gets thrown in the pit of despair. Right, we're just waiting for the albino to come by.
Right.
All right, but and there's nothing. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's this pit of despair, but has cable, so we can watch. We can watch the football game. That makes sense. You can't escape this, but it's got cable. We got the Sunday
you're
ticket.
Supposed to
That's
feel
great.
like you're miserable
ticket.
and you would rather be in hell than here. But you know what?
We got an NFL
At least
ticket.
You can watch the sports
your guys
games.
are good to go. Okay, gets a slap in the back adjustment by the doctor. Yeah, not a broken back, as in the Nightfall series. Just a quick slap on the back adjustment. Now he's able to jump out of the cave. Okay, can make it back to Gotham in one, in between scene. Apparently, we never see him actually how he does it because he's got no money. He's got no connection to Alfred, but he makes it back to Gotham in a couple hours. So he's good to go to get to the bomb beforehand. That made no sense. Okay, and then Batman defeats a nuclear bomb, which is a Superman level threat.
That's one of the scenes that I hate the absolute most.
Sure, he drops a bomb a mile or two off the coast. No fallout.
Yeah.
No tidal wave that takes out the damn city. Just poop. Oh, look, there's a nice shiny glow over there.
Yeah.
Okay, and he lives too. After being dropped out of the bat into the ocean, he somehow lives through that nuclear explosion under the water.
I hate it in movies when they treat atomic bombs like they're normal bombs and not
he had a grenade he dropped in the ocean.
Literally, like city level, country level threats.
But my struggle was that
it was like a mile off the
Nolan
coast.
Created a realistic world and then threw it away in the end. He threw away all that realism in the end. None of this, all this stuff could have happened. Guess what? Nuclear bomb dropping off the coast, not going to happen without causing problem.
Yeah. Right.
No problem was caused. Other than a nice shiny glow.
The only way is if that bomb didn't go off.
Right.
That would be the best way.
You stopped it from going off. That would
not letting it go off anywhere in the world.
Yeah, anywhere near civilization.
But he got a statue. Batman
but he did get a statue. And he mistreats Alfred, the man who's raised him from a kid. He told him to get lost, first of all, which I understand. He needed him to go away. Right. Not just for the story arc, but for the fact that he couldn't be used as a pawn against him. I get that. Make him get out of your life so that nobody can use him against you. Got that. I'm with that. But then all of a sudden, you're alive. You're in Paris with your girlfriend. Again, not Catwoman, the cat burglar. No letter to Alfred going, hey, I'm alive. By the way, I know you raised me. I'm in France. Come find me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or I'll be back. Don't worry about it. I gave the idiot cop kid the keys to the Batcave in case you see him trolling around. Right? Like, don't worry about it. Just he's there. Just ignore him. Right? It made no sense to me. And then you have the Snyderverse, and I know they're trying to bring back the Snyderverse, and they need to stop. Need to get somebody else.
I really think they should just sever ties now because it's exhausting seeing them flop every movie that they try to do, except for Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman was great. I actually really enjoyed Shazam.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I like that one a lot. And then, really, that's it. Like Man of
Steel. What about
Wonder
Woman, the new Wonder Woman? Piece of trash?
Let's just not talk about that one because she basically violated some man that was taken over by Steve's essence or whatever. Like that wasn't her Steve. That was some man that she was having relations with that she shouldn't have been.
Right? Oh yeah, that one. Oh my god, I forgot there was a second movie. That was really I did not like that movie.
You got poor Pedro Pascal, wonderful as the Mandalorian, thrown into this crap movie.
Yeah.
Way overacted. I mean, that was overacting beyond overacting in that movie.
Now, what they could do if they really want to bring back any kind of Snyderverse or do something different, if they do it right with the new Flash film, if they do it right, they could reset all of that.
Big F, Mike.
I know. You know what? I'll say this, though. I will say the DC shows on the CW handled the multiverse much better than I thought they would.
Yes.
That was phenomenal.
They need to get it away from Snyder and give it to Jeff Johns and give it to Greg Berlanti and let them actually handle it.
And they
can do now. The CW Arrowverse shows are on a CW Arrowverse budget, so they're not as grandiose. But you can see what they can do now. Imagine them having movie budgets, and access to the actors and whatever to movie stuff, and imagine the stories they can actually tell when they treat it correctly.
Well, they have the tie-in with CW and HBO Max for Stargirl now, and they also did that with the Superman and Lois shows, and the budgets of those show, and oh my God, they're phenomenal.
They are, and Superman and Lois is a very different feel than, let's say, even Flash.
Right, but
I haven't seen Superman and Lois. How
it
is
is
that?
so good.
That's really good.
Really?
It's really good. I really enjoyed it. They just wrapped up the season, the first season.
And
second season's already underway.
And they had the conceit from the end of the whole Crisis on Infinite Earths that the baby that they had in that was now twin teenagers. I'm like, I'm okay with that because they just rebooted the entire multiverse. Like, I'm okay with
exactly. I have no struggle with that whatsoever. It's a nice, easy way to deal with it, and it worked out great. And I love the show. I really enjoyed the show. You know,
and even though Flash has been
done really well,
and the Flash show struggled a little bit the last couple seasons, but it's still a solid show. And they even had the crossover with the Snyderverse with Flash meeting Flash. They were smart to do that.
That was genius.
That was gold.
Genius. But they definitely need to replace the movies with the.
Yeah, exactly. And they even had the 1989 Batman in there too. Not the Batman himself, but the universe itself was in there.
Yeah, I love that. I'm not an Ezra Miller fan. I think as an actor, I think he's fine. I don't have a struggle with him there. I have a struggle with his version of the Flash.
Right. I think it was a nice change of pace.
I think the Flash is, he's a little snarky, he's a little sarcastic, but he's also a little bit more grown up than Ezra Miller plays him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Plays him very like a anxiety-ridden teen.
Yes, and that's not Barry Allen. You know, and I get it. He's now just becoming a forensic scientist, like in the movies. Yeah. This is pre. But at the end of the day, Flash was the Flash. He was already a forensic scientist.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why he became the Flash, because he was in the lab, and that's when he got hit by lightning and the chemicals and blah, blah, blah.
And that's where Grant Gustin got it right. That's where they got with what's his name from the 90s version of Flash.
Yes. Absolutely. I think that I loved bringing him in.
Yeah. And they brought him as different versions of the Flash and different characters as well, which was brilliant.
That was really cool.
No, I think that was
I'm
genius.
not going to lie. I shed a freaking tear when they did that in the CW version of the Crisis on the Universe with he was running, and you knew he was the one that was going to die. And then flash back to a scene from the original Flash show. I'm just like, you sons of bitches.
No, they did it. They hit us on every angle. And they did. Those bastards. They got it. They nailed that big time.
And the fact we got Brandon Routh as Superman again, which
in future Superman, right? Kingdom Come Superman,
right? And Superman Returns movie, not a great film by any means, but his portrayal as Christopher Reeve as Superman was as a Christopher Reeves version of Superman was perfect. Like he was pitch perfect, except for the creepy scene where he's watching Lois in the house. That was a whole other
stalker scene was a little much, but the callbacks are what's appreciated, right? I like when they say this happened. This is part of our history. We're acknowledging it, not trying to ignore it. That's when they go credit, and that's when you bring in the real audience because everybody can be a part of it. People like yourself who just introduced to this stuff, or somebody like myself who's lived in some and watched the 90s shows with John Wesley Shipp, who watched the 80s stuff, who watched all these things, including 66 Batman, and you got Robin in there, right? You got him in there, a little bigger, but he's still wearing the sweater. You know what I mean? He was on Earth 66. You know what I mean?
They even did the callback to Birds of Prey, like a one-season show.
That's right.
Beautiful. Wow. And they could do that in the movie level too at this point.
Did you watch the Birds of Prey show?
I have it on DVD.
Watch episode 1. Who's in episode 1 that you might recognize? No.
It's been so long.
Oh. Mr. What do you call it? Breaking Bad.
No. Bryan Cranston?
No. Aaron Paul. He's the kid on the bus.
No,
he's the pain in the ass kid on the bus.
Wow,
it's a young Aaron Paul.
Oh my god,
I'm not kidding you. Go back and watch it.
Crazy.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
That is crazy.
Isn't that insane?
That's insane. Wow.
Go back and watch it. That was pretty cool.
Okay,
little callback there. So that was really cool. So all right, so I know Mike, you've got to get going
shortly. If the TV series can get it right, then why can't the movies get it right? Hands down.
But I've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah.
If the TV shows can do this because they're doing what they need to do.
They even have a smaller budget.
To me, it's almost as if they're like, well, it's just a TV show. Let Berlanti deal with it, and who cares? We're going to focus and put all of our efforts into the movies, right? We're gonna put our stink and our stamp all over the movies, but who cares what they're doing on the TV? When they didn't realize that model is what they should have done for the movies. Let these people like Berlanti, like Jeff Johns, let these people who know what the hell they're talking about with these characters do your movies. Let the comic book writers write the scripts for your movies. They know what they're doing. They lived and breathed these characters. You're just an idiot in a suit at Warner Brothers, and you think you know about this stuff, and you don't. So you let every director come in, like Nolan and whoever, and just put their stink on it.
And it makes no sense. You know who you get to run the movies? And I just had to look it up. Paul Dini.
Please.
Paul Dini and Bruce Timm.
Easy.
Boom. Done.
Easy. Done day. You have a universe. You have people who know the characters inside and out, who've been dealing with these characters for decades. Okay.
You get them to do it. Done.
You get Jim Lee in there. You get Jeff Johns. You get Berlanti. You get Dini. You get these guys in there, and you got a done day. You get rid of Snyder. Team. You get rid of these idiots with a stink on it. The Snyderverse is too dark.
Yep.
It's too mopey. Man of Steel was just an emo Superman walking around, bearded, throwing poles through trucks.
Yeah.
Like, that made no sense to me whatsoever.
I thought Man of Steel was good, and
it was decent.
Like, it was good. It was all right.
It could have been way better.
It could have been, but and then like every movie after that, I was like, oh wow, these actually
Superman
really
with
suck.
Christopher Reeves in the 70s was a better, you know what I mean? With their with the lack of technology.
Yeah, I've seen that one. It is far better.
It was a way better version of Superman.
Let's put it this way.
As cheesy, as hokey as a 70s movie can be, it was way better.
Captain America.
And I'm not just saying that because I was a kid when that came out. I'm not saying that. As an actual Superman, movie. The true essence of the character, somebody who's heroic and brave and out for the world, and not emo and pissy and moany. Yeah, your father died, you be Superman, and you move on with your day.
You know how you do emo? Emo superhero is Captain America. They did it right. He was still very true to himself, I'm going to be super nice and everything. But even towards the end, when it was a little darker and gritty in the end game, he was still, we can do this. We can do this together.
I could do this all day.
I could do this all day. Everything. Yeah. Boom. If you could do that, then Superman can do that because that was 70s Superman. That was Christopher Reeve's Superman. It can be done and still sell tickets.
And I love the Ben Affleck Batman. Like, I do. I know people get emotional about it. And people didn't think it was going to work. I thought he was the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Batman v Superman and Justice League. He's still the best part of the movie. That Batman v Superman, when he's in that warehouse and he's throwing boxes around and grappling through this and swinging this and
he was
shoving
really
heads
cool
through the floor and doing that. Like, that was Batman. That was the best Batman fight scene ever laid on film. Ever. The best Batman fight scene. The most true, the most daring, the most entertaining.
Yep.
And that was it. But then you have to ruin it with, I'm going to stop this fighting because your mother's name is Martha and my name is Martha.
Right, well.
Oh my God, we're besties.
How did that not get somebody fired? I don't know.
How
did you not get fired for that nonsense?
That was ridiculous.
That Batman followed the animated series Batman look and feel. Boom, hands down. And that's what they should have done. And
it was Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller, Batman. You know what I'm saying? And I like that. The big bat, the big bat symbol on the chest, the older, I've been doing this a while, Robin's dead, I love it. I loved all that. But to stop their fighting on such an easy, stupid way out, instead of it just being, you had another easy way to do it. Superman lands and goes, Bruce, because I know who you are, stop. We're not going to fight because it's not you or I that are pitted against each other. Lex Luthor is doing this to both of us. He's manipulating both of us.
It could have easily been that.
Done day. You don't have to attack him. You don't have to grenade bomb him with kryptonite. You got to stop. This is not us fighting. Lex Luthor, who you don't like anyway, is pitting us against each other. Now he has my mother hostage and he's threatening Lois. Okay. Exactly. And he's trying to do that. And he's trying to take over. He's doing some shit. We as a team need to go get him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
you know what I mean? So that whole fight scene was superfluous. I get it. It's a movie. You got to have that. Oh my God, Batman and Superman are fighting. All that Dark Knight Returns. But that was a very different situation as to why they actually fought in the comics.
Right.
That one made sense. This one made no sense as to why they're fighting and why it kept going and why they stopped fighting.
Right.
It was
everything
ridiculous.
about it.
Everything about it was stupid. You have Doomsday was completely mishandled.
Yep.
Doomsday was a pile of shit that walked.
Oh, I said this before. It was a Harry Potter cave troll.
That was so disappointing.
You know what I mean? It was just a droided up Harry Potter cave troll.
And as much as I loved the Wonder Woman character, why was she there?
Yeah, it was just another way to fit her
weird.
in. It was a way to fit her in so she can get her own movie going. I get it, but yet it didn't make much sense.
Right.
That should have been a shoehorn in the Trinity, but I get it. But yeah, so I had less of a struggle with that because I love the character. I love the way Gal Gadot actually plays that character. Not the way they made her play it in '84, but I get it. You know what I mean? But like, I definitely liked her appearance in there, and I thought she was incredibly badass. When she does that, when he kicks her back and she gives that like wink of like, "Oh yeah, MFer, I'm coming at you," and she just digs in and then launches at him. One of the best parts of that movie. Her fight, like, go get him. It was awesome. Like, you totally got behind her with that. I thought that was fantastic. So in any movie, there are shining parts, except for the Nolanverse. You know what I mean? There's definitely some shining parts. Again, Heath Ledger, shining point, but that was him, not Nolan. Okay, because he dug into that character. But you know, even the Snyderverse has some shining parts to it, but there's not enough for me. There's too many missteps. There's too many easy outs, easy writings. We don't know this character well enough. Even when you get the reshoot, the recut, the Snyder cut, okay, and I've talked about this before. First of all, you make it 4:3 because you're an idiot. Because you want it for IMAX, which is an IMAX for a couple of months, maybe.
When
during
I'm watching,
pandemic.
I'm like, what the hell? Is this right? Why am I watching something?
Oh yeah, I stopped it and restarted. I thought something was wrong.
Right. What the hell was that?
It was an artistic choice for IMAX so that it looked better in IMAX because, you know, when superheroes fly and they're flying up and I read this entirely long, the Snyder cut of the Justice League.
Oh,
redid it and made it longer and added some really cool stuff to it.
Yeah.
You know, definitely made Steppenwolf look a lot better. Still not Steppenwolf, but better than the original. Right. It still wasn't right, but it was definitely better. You know what I mean? And added in, Darkseid. He still looked like crap. You know what I mean? You know, and then you had the whole Granny Goodness and Desaad in there. At least you saw them, but it was kind of like that X-Men. Here's a second of them. Now go away.
And
maybe we'll do another one. You shoehorned in the Joker in the extra scene. That was unnecessary.
Right.
You know what I mean? But some of the other stuff was cool. Obviously, having Martian Manhunter in there was cool. I liked that. I thought that was fun. I was hoping for more Green Lantern.
Yeah,
I'm always hoping for.
I would love to see the Green Lantern stuff, but they're going to do their own.
That's like
so that was kind of cool. But there was a lot, even the new stuff, like the 4:3 really pissed me off because you're going to have it in IMAX for a couple of months, and then everybody's going to watch it on their home TV, their widescreen TVs, for the rest of its life.
Right.
What a ridiculous choice! You should have, if you want to have a 4:3 movie in IMAX, go do it, but make the version that has an aspect ratio proper to people's TVs now.
Right.
Make both. So instead of putting your energy into making a black and white version, because who the hell cares about having a black and white version? You're so worried about it looking how a comic book should read.
Yep.
Comic books aren't black and white, you jackass. So why did you bother putting out a black and white version of it? It was an artistic, I'm fuddy-duddy choice. Cut it out. Reason number 105, he should be fired.
You know what? I'm going to go completely out of, this whole thing. I will say the best comic book looking film of all time is not one that's in the MCU, but it is a Marvel movie. The Ang Lee Hulk.
Howard the Duck.
So I'll talk. Let's talk about the Ang Lee Hulk movie. This is going back. We're jumping back in the Wayback Machine here. Okay. So yes, I will 100% agree with you. It's definitely the most comic book looking movie. In fact, so much so that it had like panels moving.
Exactly.
I like that. And the transitions were very comic book.
I like that. The story itself was
Okay, so not only was the story kind of but I'll get behind it. Okay, it was a first attempt at the Hulk.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Here's my problem. My problem stems with Ang Lee. All right, and he's a great film director. We know that. We know there's no getting around. He's a great, even though he loves doves. Every movie has freaking doves going across the screen, including the Hulk. Yeah. It's always got that's his thing. Okay, all right, fine. I get it. You have a thing. You have an artistic thing you like to stamp on because that makes it. Look, it's an Ang Lee movie. There's a swan. There's a bird. Doves going across the screen. Got it. All right. Here's my problem. I have a cousin who works for ILM.
Okay.
I'm not going to say his name. He worked for Ang Lee on that movie.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Nice guy.
Right.
Nice guy. However, stupid choices. They spent a lot of time and a lot of money creating new software and technology because it was still relatively new at that point. So they upped their game on new technologies to make the Hulk look realistic, right? Skin, sweat, hair, like all these different engines they had to create, not software that was there. They had to create the software before they could make the movie, right?
Yeah.
Right. So he worked on that, and he's an animator. At the time, he was just an animator. Now he's more of a lead and does other things. But so he would tell me about it. And he's like, yeah, we'd do this, and then he'd come in for like a daily or whatever and say, okay, see that hand when it puts it on top of the truck? Turn it 5 degrees to the left as he jumps across the truck. Not realizing that takes about $20,000 to $30,000 to do because it's animators back in, reanimating, re-rendering, and all this stuff, and all the months of computing power it takes to do all that, to move it 5 degrees. They would tell him they did it, and they didn't do it. And he's like, yeah, that looks great. So that was number one. Number two, every time they do anything, he's like, yeah, but I want it darker because it's night, so make it darker. So he's like, so we did all this work to make the skin. You couldn't see any of it because he just come in and filter it dark. You couldn't see any of the work we did.
That's bullshit.
And it made it look
that is.
Right. And then of course, let's not go into the fact that it had the Hulk dogs.
Well, I don't mention that. I don't talk about that. Yeah.
Right. So this big part. So I know I'm ranting and kind of shitting on every movie so far, but there are some great things out there. And there were some great parts to that movie. Right. And I think Eric Bana did a great job. I liked his portrayal as Bruce.
I think him and Jennifer Connelly had a great chemistry as
I thought that was awesome. I thought and I like Nick Nolte. I like Nick Nolte anyways, a bit of a wackadoo now, but I liked him. You know what I mean?
So
I like him.
That was a movie. No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say this is a movie that's not part of the MCU that was a Marvel didn't always knock it out of the park. This was right after when Spider-Man hit, like the first Spider-Man.
But don't use those words too quick.
I know, because
we have a multiverse now.
I know.
We have a multiverse now. There's no reason that can't be part of it. It's all canon. And they've kind of come out and said it, like anything we've done can be canon because we have a multiverse now. And there's no reason at some point they can't bring Eric Bana back or they can't bring that version of the Hulk back because the next one we're going to lose. So for the She-Hulk show, I think we're losing Smart Hulk.
Right.
Oh, thank God.
So we're getting away from Smart Hulk.
That was the one thing that really put me out of Endgame.
It was tough.
I was like, oh my gosh.
When he's sitting in that diner scene, he's taking selfies.
I hate that so much, like with a passion.
I did not mind him when he's trying to help, when he's doing the, with the actual quantum and time, you know what I mean? Yeah. Going through time. I didn't have a problem with. The freaking diner scene where he's taking, selfies.
I hated everything
and trying to
take
a selfie with Ant-Man.
Every time he showed up on screen, I was mad because I just hated it so much.
But Smart Hulk is a Hulk.
Yeah, I've seen that in the comics.
Hulk, right? There's Mr.
But
Fix-It.
God,
there's so many.
This one was just so cringy.
And we're gonna, eventually we're gonna get Red Hulk with Ross. You know what I mean? With General Ross, we'll get Red Hulk eventually.
I can't wait for them to get Red.
Abomination is back in Shang-Chi.
Really?
Yeah, he's in that. Have you ever seen the trailer with the fight scene inside the cage?
Yeah.
It's Wong.
Was that Abomination?
That's Wong fighting Abomination.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Abomination's tweaked a little bit with like the fins and everything, but that's okay.
Yeah, they just updated him a little bit, and I have no struggle with that.
No, not at all.
I can't remember. Did he die in the Incredible Hulk or
no? He just took him away. What's that?
They took him away in the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
he was knocked out.
Okay, all right. Because I actually don't. I don't remember what happened.
I
don't know if he ever transformed back. I don't think he did.
I don't remember. I'd have to go back and watch it. You might be right. I don't think he did either.
Yeah,
it's one of those movies that is part of the MCU, but it's not one that I go back and watch.
But now we could do it with multiverses. You could also have Lou Ferrigno Hulk again.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't have Bill Bixby,
sadly, but you could have him as just a Hulk coming in as well. That would be cool. Tiny Hulk with Big Hulk. That would be okay with me.
I would be okay with that too. That is the beauty of it. It opens up everything. Everything is opened up now.
And that's the beauty of how Marvel did everything right all the way so far. But starting with the MCU, starting with 2007.
I mean, obviously this has been in play for a while, right? They've been thinking about doing this multiverse stuff. Do you think they have been dealing with this, or do you think they at all did they take any of the playbook from DC in the Arrowverse shows when they started doing all this crossover stuff? Because they've been doing crossovers for a long time.
I'm gonna go on a limb and bet that they were influenced. I'm not gonna say that they directly took it, but
they see how much it worked.
Yeah, influence.
Exactly.
They see how much the multiverse stuff and the crisis stuff worked, and you brought in all these other things. You know what I mean? When you had the 66 Batman, the 89 Batman, like you said,
and how well they made it work. Yeah. Like it was flawless,
and it was perfect. Yep. It was fan service, and I know people bitch about fan service. I love
that's my
fan service
thing.
all the way because I'm a fan.
Fan service
I want to
pays the
fan
bills.
service.
Exactly. Oh my God, I hate when people get annoyed
fan service pays the bills.
That's right. Companies. It absolutely pays the bills, Mike. You're right. Yeah. Like, why the hell wouldn't you do fan service? It's just
the
fun.
people that gripe and complain is a much smaller number than fans. Go to any convention. Go to
and I don't understand it at all. Like people spend way too much time complaining about stuff like that. I might talk to you about how much I hate the Nolanverse, but I'll sit online complaining about it every day, typing on the computer, standing on my chair, screaming at my computer. Yeah. I'll talk to a friend about it, but that's it.
Yeah.
I don't sit there and complain about it all day, every day, and tell them that they had crap. I'll keep it to myself. I'll tell it to you, but that's it. Right. And people, they know. And here's one thing it didn't do. As much as I hated the Nolanverse, and I've said this before, it did not in any way, you people know who I'm talking to, it didn't ruin my childhood. People have got to stop saying that.
Hate that.
You've got to stop using the term it ruined my child. It did not wreck your childhood. The newer Star Wars movies, the prequel trilogies did not wreck your childhood. No. The three originals, even though they've been tweaked 100 times, are still there. Go freaking watch them.
I mean, it's disappointing that they ended the story that way, but
there's a million more Star Wars movies to come. We have Mandalorian. They're gonna keep doing it. Same thing with Batman. Pattinson's doing his. You don't like it, and I'm sure I'm sure I'll have mixed, and you'll definitely hear a review on it. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be over. It's gonna be done. Somebody else will pick it up, and there'll be a new version coming.
Yep. Every child has that first movie to whatever universe that we already a part
Mila
of.
has the Nolan verse, as far as sorry as I feel for her.
Yep.
You know what? There are some kids that grew up on Phantom Menace. There are some kids that grew up on The Force Awakens. You know,
that's right.
All of that.
It did not wreck your childhood. Cut it out. Stop saying that. You're okay.
Exactly.
I will do another day. I want to talk to you about the new He-Man, because I know you like them, the He-Man Revelation show. We talked about that a little bit online, and people are all over it. It wrecked my childhood. No, it didn't. The 200 episodes are still there. Nobody came into your house and stole your DVDs, your Blu-rays. Go back,
still there.
Cry into your little pajamas. Go back to mom's basement and go watch your DVDs and leave everybody else alone. It was a good series, and it's a new series. There's another series which I'm not really that jazzed about, the CG version. We'll talk about this later, but I'm not really jazzed about that. But that's okay. I don't have to be. That's not for me.
You got to watch it through the eyes of the audience that it's intended for.
It's not made for me. I'm sorry. I know you want everything made for you. It's not made for you. There's billions of people with billions of different interests and things they want to see and different ages. It's not made for you. Go watch something. Go back and watch the 200 that are made for you.
You know what I need to do? We need to get you in contact, and you and I and him and everybody need to talk about G.I. Joe.
That's another whole episode. Let's plan that day. We're gonna do our G.I. Joe talk.
Yep.
Yeah,
we got to bring Fred for that.
Yeah, let's definitely get Fred involved in that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Excellent. Okay, I want to thank everybody for listening. As always, this is entertainmentrants.com. Find us online at entertainmentrants.com. At social media, we're at Entertainment Rants, except for Twitter, we're Entertain Rants. Feel free to write us a review. We'd love to hear from you. We'll get to read it on our next podcast if you can. That'd be fantastic. We love it when people spend, 15 to 90 seconds, just write a quick review. Let us know what you think. Let everybody else know that you like the material, so it's something they might want to listen to. We'd love to hear from you. We want to know if you want to be a guest on the show, if there's something you're passionate about and would like to talk about. Let's do it. We're happy to rant with you. So I want to just thank everybody. I want to thank Mila again, as always.
Thank you.
And Mike, as always, thank you so much. But let's talk to everybody about who you are and where they can find the Bro Show.
The Bro Show is a show that I do every 2 to 3 weeks live. I call it Brunch with Bro on Friday mornings around 11 o'clock in the morning, usually. And it's just a fun little show. You can find me at The Bro Show. That's TheBreaux, as an X-ray, SHOW. It's a Cajun spelling. I'm a little spicy. What can I say? At The Bro Show on Instagram, at The Bro Show on Twitter, at The Bro Show on Facebook, and at The Bro Show. I actually have a TikTok. You can even go find me on TikTok. There's only 3 videos there right
after we're done.
Yeah, there's only 3 videos. They're very old, but it's okay. They're there. I'm still there. So eventually you might even see me do a dance. Who knows? The Bro Show is all the fun. Hashtag just bro it. Do a good deed today is one of my big things. So I push that on everybody. Do a good deed today and tell me about it. Hashtag just bro it. Put it out there and I'll find it and I'll talk about it on the show. And on the show, I'll just give a quick little plug. The fact that I talk about toys, pop culture. I even do this week in Geektastic History, where I take a few tidbits from the week of what's fun in history for geeks.
We love it. Awesome. Mike, thank you so much. It was fantastic having you. We're definitely going to do this again. We're going to do our G.I. Joe show. We're going to have you on again anytime.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem, man. It's been fun. It was great to meet you, Mila. I hope to meet you in person at some point soon.
That would be awesome. It's good to meet you, too.
I will have to come down to the dojo at some point and do a little sparring.
That would be awesome. All right. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mila. Everybody, thank you as much. Let's get out there and start ranting, everybody.
Bye.
Rock on.